Most people reaching their 70s and 80s are simply trying to get through each day. But a small group, a truly rare few, are doing something different. They're not just surviving this chapter of life. They're living it in a way most people never figure out. And today, I want to show you the 4 things that separate them. Not talent, not luck, not money. 4 very specific things, and the moment you hear them, you'll understand exactly what I mean. Let me ask you something honestly. When you think about people in their 70s and 80s, the ones who seem different, the ones who seem lighter, more at peace, more alive somehow, have you ever wondered what their secret is? It's not that life has been easy for them. Many of them have buried spouses, lost friends, faced illness, known real grief. But something in them carries on with a quiet kind of strength. A warmth, a presence. Like they've found something most of us are still searching for. I've spent a long time looking into this, and what I found surprised me. It came down to 4 things, just 4. And none of them require youth. None of them require perfect health. Every single one of them is available to you right now, today. Stay with me because this changes everything. The first thing these rare individuals share is this. They have made peace with their own story. Not a perfect story, not a pain-free story. Their story with all its losses, regrets, wrong turns, and heartbreaks. Here's what most people don't realize. A lot of people carry their past like a heavy suitcase they never put down. Every step, they're dragging the weight of what went wrong. What they should have done, what someone did to them, what could have been. And that weight, that constant, invisible weight, quietly drains the joy from each day. But the rare ones, they've set the suitcase down. Not because they've forgotten. Not because they pretend it didn't hurt. But because they made a quiet decision, somewhere along the way, that their past would inform them, not imprison them. One woman I read about, 82 years old, had lost her son. Her marriage had broken down in her 50s. She had known real poverty, real loneliness. And yet the people around her said she was the most joyful person they'd ever met. When someone asked her secret, she simply said, "I decided my story wasn't finished, and I stopped being ashamed of the chapters I didn't choose." That is a rare thing, a genuinely rare thing. And here's what I want to ask you gently. Is there a part of your story you're still fighting against? A chapter you're still trying to undo? Because the peace these people carry, it begins with acceptance. Not resignation, acceptance. There is a profound difference. The second thing, and this one is so important, is that they still have purpose. Something that gets them out of bed in the morning. Something that makes Tuesday feel different from Monday. Something that makes them feel needed, useful, or connected to something bigger than themselves. Now I want to be clear. This doesn't mean a grand mission or a major achievement. It's rarely that. It might be a garden they tend every morning. A grandchild they read to on Thursdays. A neighbor they check in on. A skill they teach, a story they write, a meal they cook for others. But here's what the science confirms, and this is where things become truly important. People who maintain a sense of purpose in later life live longer, suffer fewer cognitive declines, and report dramatically higher levels of happiness. Not because life becomes easier, but because when you wake up knowing why you're getting up, everything changes. The rare few in their 70s and 80s haven't retired from purpose. They may have retired from careers, but not from meaning. They've simply found it in smaller, quieter places. And those quiet places, they hold enormous power. So I want to ask you, gently, honestly, what is your reason to get up tomorrow? If it feels unclear right now, that's okay. That's actually very common. But it's worth sitting with, worth asking. Because the answer might be closer than you think. The third thing, And perhaps the most quietly powerful of all is this: they have learned how to be alone without being lonely. That might sound simple, but it is one of the rarest abilities a human being can have. By the time most people reach their 70s and 80s, solitude has become a large part of life. Children have moved away, spouses may have passed, friends are fewer. The world gets quieter. For many people, that quiet feels like loss, like abandonment, like being left behind. And that pain is real. I don't want to minimize it for a single moment. But the rare ones, the ones who carry that particular kind of inner peace, they have found something in the stillness. Not emptiness, presence. A comfort with their own company, a richness in the quiet. They wake in the morning and feel at home in themselves. They sit with a cup of tea and don't need the television on to feel okay. They've discovered that solitude, true solitude, is not the same as loneliness. Loneliness is the pain of unwanted aloneness. Solitude is the gift of chosen stillness. And here is what most people don't realize. This ability, this comfort in one's own company, is something that can be developed. It's not a personality type you're born with. It's a practice, a quiet daily practice. It often begins with just a few minutes of stillness. A short walk without your phone. A moment of sitting by a window, just watching the world. Letting your mind settle instead of always filling the silence. The rare few have done this long enough that the silence no longer frightens them. It holds them instead. And the fourth thing, the one that ties everything together, is gratitude. But not the easy kind, not gratitude when life is going well. The hard kind of gratitude. Gratitude for the difficult chapters too. For the lessons hidden inside the struggles. For the strength they didn't know they had until they had no other choice. The rare people in their 70s and 80s who carry this kind of inner peace, they are not naive. They are not pretending life has been soft. Many of them have walked through fires most of us haven't known. But somewhere along the way, sometimes slowly, sometimes suddenly, they shifted from asking, "Why did this happen to me?" to asking, "What did this give me?" That is not a small shift, that is enormous. It changes the relationship between a person and their own history. It changes how they see each morning, each meal, each phone call, each sunrise. I once read about a man, 78 years old, who had survived the loss of his wife, a serious illness and years of financial hardship. And he kept a small notebook, nothing fancy, where every single morning without fail, he wrote down 3 things he was grateful for. Not big things, sometimes just the smell of toast, the sound of birds, a warm shower. He said it wasn't about pretending life was perfect. It was about training his eyes to find what was still beautiful. And over time, that training became his nature. Gratitude wasn't something he practiced anymore. It was simply who he was. That is rare. That is one of the most beautiful things a human being can become. Most people close up as they age. They stop asking questions, stop reaching towards something new. Stop believing that this chapter still has something extraordinary in it. But you're still here, still listening. And that matters more than you know. The years ahead of you, however many they are not simply a waiting room. They are still your life. Still full of mornings worth waking to. Still holding moments that haven't happened yet. Still capable of connection, beauty, and meaning. You don't have to be extraordinary. You just have to be present, open, willing. And if you carry even one of these 4 things forward from today, just one, I believe something in your daily life will quietly shift. Not all at once, but gently, surely. The way morning light shifts when the clouds finally move. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If something here stayed with you, I'd love to know. Leave a comment below and tell me which of these 4 things means the most to you. And if you know someone, a parent, a friend, a neighbor who might need to hear this today, consider sharing it with them. Sometimes, the most loving thing we can do is simply say, "I thought of you when I saw this." Take care of yourself. You deserve that care. And I'll see you in the next one.